I'm Sorah Chesed, otherwise known as Carrie Sealine, and I'm a priestess at Temple Sophia, Babylon, Caledonia, here in the Valley of Oakland, California. And I'm here today to talk to you about the lesser ritual of the Pentagram, which, as part of my magical work, I have rectified in alignment with what I see as its underlying Jewish source material. Many people who come to Thelema come to it from secular or Christian backgrounds, and a few of the people who do come to it from Jewish backgrounds very frequently don't have much of a Jewish education or Jewish background. But one of the things that was really exciting for me when I first found out about Thelema was all of the parallels I found with Jewish practice and prayer that were already familiar to me. And so when I first saw the Gnostic Mass, I was really taken with how parallel it was to the ceremony of taking the Torah out of the Ark that is performed every Saturday morning in synagogues all around the world. And when I first heard the lesser ritual of the Pentagram, I was struck with the language that sounded somewhat familiar, only I couldn't quite place it. I started to do some thinking and some reflecting, and then I realized that this too, the Kabbalistic cross, came from liturgy that's used in the Torah service. So working from there, and of course the God names and the angel names also come from Jewish tradition, but how they connected and how they paralleled was something that I really wanted to explore. And in the process of that exploration, I have rewritten the LRP, as I said before, in accordance with what I identify as its Jewish source material. I believe that Aleister Crowley was a very synthetic practitioner, and one of the great strengths of Thelema is that it offers entry points to people from many different faith tradition backgrounds, so that by incorporating elements of Judaism and the heretical elements of Christianity and of Islam and of Buddhism and of the Dharmic traditions, it really is for all. The law is for all. Thelema is for all. You just pick your point of entry and you start where what's familiar to you, and then you see it takes you into areas that may not be familiar to you, but nevertheless enhance your magical powers and develop you as a magician. What I feel is very unique and not well understood about Crowley is that he's very specifically working at a time when the British Empire was really at its peak, about to start its dissolution, but at a very high point. And he takes all of these subaltern traditions that have been sort of denigrated or subjugated by the dominant Anglican Christianity, and he makes them actually the centerpieces of Thelema. So this is a very daring move, and by elevating what has been oppressed, he performs a great magical act of emancipation. As a person from Jewish background, I was taught that Jews don't practice magic. And as I started getting deeper into my studies of Jewish material and text, I realized, in fact, that that wasn't true, that Jews have been practicing magic. In fact, they were accused of practicing magic. Many people in Europe, Jewish people, were killed for practicing magic, but that in the ancient world of the Mediterranean, Jewish magicians were very highly regarded, and their magic was very sought after. The Talmud itself has magical contests between rabbis, and Jesus himself is portrayed as a master magician, but not really any different than the other master magicians who are not diverging from the law of Torah. Because I grew up at a time that was relatively, well, let's say 20 years after World War II, the memory of the Holocaust was very fresh in people's minds. And being in America and being American meant that Jews didn't practice magic or superstition, and we didn't talk about it. And of course, we didn't do it. But when I was realizing the similarities in language in, say, a ritual like the lesser ritual of the Pentagram with standard Jewish liturgy, I realized, in fact, that Jews do practice magic. They practice magic every day through their liturgy and through their prayers, and that this is also embedded in the Jewish history of Europe, as well as the ancient Near East. And further, that through a ritual like the lesser ritual of the Pentagram, non-Jewish magical practitioners practice Judaism, or they practice at least Jewish magic, without necessarily knowing that it's Jewish. Just as the same way today Jewish people are practicing Jewish magic, but without knowing that it's magic. So I'd like to, I think at this point, do a demonstration of the rectified ritual and then analyze the different parts and let you know where I've come from.